Right. But it was time for a check-in because I'm doing that motor in a head thing that I always seem to do. Where are we at? So I've laid the old loom on the bike. I've put in a few bits like the control unit, the coils. So they're in because obviously they've got to go where they've got to go. I'm getting new plug caps coming, so they're bare for now. I've sorted out the front end, so all of the wires are routed through and they come out in this middle bit. And I've also managed to fix the throttle, which is good. So now I can leave that alone. So what I've got is obviously the new plug from the clock. The chances of this just working are about zero. I mean, it does actually fit the connector for the old clock, but it's just, I'll try it, but it's not going to work, is it? So I'm going to have to probably sort that out. But it got all the wires for the indicators and all of this crap. So I'm just going to pull this headlight apart now and feed the wires through. Problem is, because it's so excellently made, they're all the same colour for the two indicators and the headlight itself. So yeah, not ideal. But I should be able to figure that out easy enough. I just got to run the wires. Shouldn't be too difficult at all. I think I'm going to probably try and have like the central wire block in this cavity under the tank, and then obviously we've got stuff here. But I was planning to pull the whole loom apart and cut it down and start again with it, but I just can't be arsed. I'm not going to lie. I pulled a bit off and I'm faced with this. I mean, it's not too daunting, but I just know if I start again with this loom, I'm going to end up with a bike that don't work, or it don't work for a long time anyway. Got all of this standard tape though. This needs sorting out. They all come apart. But yeah, where I can, I'm going to get rid of things. Obviously, I'm going to have to tape all this back up because that is kind of bad. But I give it a clean. Try to clean all of the plug connectors, just to make life a bit easier, really, because it was disgusting. It was disgusting before. It was all covered in shit and unpleasant to work with. So not too bad now, but all I'm doing here is just redoing these joints because the tape's just melted essentially. So I mean, it is nearly 28 years old, so it's fair enough. Because we don't want things shorting out, do we? So I'm just going to have to spend a bit of time now and figure out where things go. The basics in. I'm going to have to extend this. So you got the starter solenoid here. Reason you have that, if you don't know, it's basically just a relay. Obviously this comes from the battery, and this is quite a thick wire, and that goes through to the starter motor. But to actually start it, you need a switch wire coming from the bars, because obviously you can't run this fat stuff up to the bars through a switch and then back down again, because that would just be stupid. So they have this, which these two pins here take the low current from the switch, and they engage these two when you press the button. So there's basically a switch inside. It's like a little rocker thing, and when you press it, they engage a magnet inside this, which flicks that and connects these together, and then that goes through, starts the bike. But yeah, it's not really complicated. There's not really any electronics on this at all. Very basic. but it's just getting my head around how to route wires and things, so probably not going to film that much, but I'll check back as I go. Oh, right then, so where are we at? Well, I have extended the ignition switch because that's living down here. I'm not going to keep this one. That's the key and everything, because it's massive and it's got the steering lock thing built into it. But for now, I'm going to have to use it because, you know, budget. So it'll have to do for the time being. So that's done. But now we're on to the spaghetti junction part. So I've got to make this fit this. So fortunately, I've managed to find a wiring diagram for this bike. So I'm gonna, I'll be able to find what all of these bits do. And on the eBay listing where I got this clock, they have also listed where all the wires go, which is handy. Otherwise I'd be shit out of luck. Now, to be honest, because it's an old bike, this looks really bad, but most of these are just lights. That's all the clock is. There's no, like, special bits in it or anything. It's just lights, so it should be fairly straightforward to do. I'm going to lop this off. Just there. And I'm going to put bullet connectors on all of these so that they're easily interchangeable. It's probably going to be a little bit of faffing trying to get all this to work. So I don't want to be doing permanent connections on them. The only other major thing, obviously I need to connect all the rear lights and stuff up, and the front light is going to need a bit of work, but not the end of the world. Easy enough to do, just takes a bit of time. This is probably going to take me a minute. I'll stick all these end connectors on and then we'll come back. Otherwise I'm going to have like a 300 gig file. So I want to try and show you what I'm doing, but it's quite a slow, methodical process doing this. I mean, as you can see, it's yeah. I don't want to rush it. I mean, realistically, the chances of me getting this right first time are pretty slim. Not that I don't have confidence in myself, but there's a lot going on, and yeah, I don't know, we'll see. But I'm just having to sort of decipher each piece and where it goes and do my best, really. I could have got a better clock, if I'm honest. Maybe I'll change it at some point. Oh, I'll have to, because stupid me bought the one that doesn't have a trip. You know, the little trip meter on the side so you can reset it. Because obviously it doesn't have a fuel gauge anymore. This clock does have a fuel light on it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that working or not, because this has an actual gauge. I don't know. Not really sure how that works. So if I've got no gauge and I've got no light, I was going to need the trip, which is fine. Like I've managed just with a fuel trip fit. That's what happens when you press the button on the chair. I've managed riding just with a fuel trip for years. Like, to be honest, I always do that in all my vehicles, even the van. I never rely on the gauge. I always follow the trip. But if I don't even have that, then it's going to be a problem. Right, next. Positive pole is the black wire, for whatever reason. Good old Chinese parts. So, now what would that be? Is that going to be positive for everything? Or is that just going to be the light? I think we'll leave that one for a minute. So, what else? I'm having to switch between two photos. So, oil, EFI oil pump, black and red wire. So we don't need that, because we don't have that. Fuel meter, that's red and white, so that's him. So we've got high beam, blue. Let's do that. That's nice and easy. So now we go back onto the GPZ diagram. High beam indicator is red and brown. So R/BR. So that'll be we've got brown. Red with brown. That's red with blue, red with black. Hang on, I might get my colours mixed up. BR is brown. Red with brown. There isn't bloody red with brown. Is that meant to be a K? Red and black. I feel like that's meant to be a K. I'm going to go with red and black. Which is that one? Good old classic wiring diagrams. Look like they've been scrawled out by a 3-year-old. So what we do, we get the opposite end now to the bullet, and you get a little sheath thing with it which covers the wires here. Get a little twist so it don't go everywhere. And there we go. Right. They're a bit faffy, these things are. So far we've done earth, neutral light, earth, and high beam. Okay. The journey continues. I'm actually going to be ready. Once I've done this, I'm going to plug it in and see what happens. Probably set on fire. This is what I'm working with, if you can see that. It's probably not in focus, but that's the fuel gauge clock. I just missed out on a bloody manual for this bike, and last week I think it was. They're pretty rare to get a manual for, and there was 2 on eBay, and I was bidding on one. I forgot about it. I put a bid of £15, and it sold for £15.50, I think it was, or something like that. In fact, it might have been £15.10. Just fuming, because the next one from that was nearly 70 quid from America, which I don't want one that bad. I know I can sort of get most of what I need online, but it's just nice to have the real manual, isn't it? You know, when you're working like this, I could have that open and just flick on it when I needed. But oh well, I'll keep my eye out if another one pops up. We'll just try it and see what happens. If it don't work, it don't work. I'll have to swap it. Yeah, because meter light would be speedo or rev, because it had a rev gauge and a speedo on it. So I would assume that that's what that means. What am I doing? What am I doing? I took the Yamaha out for a little spin earlier. That's why I'm still in my bike trousers. Oh, I love it. It's a bit late though. I don't normally go out too late because of the sound of it. But I think I'm probably going to have to make a couple of baffles for it, you know. Some that I can take in and out when I want. Because it's just... I mean, I love the sound of it, but it is a piss take. That is, yeah, it's proper loud. There we go. Right, so I'm going to connect the battery up. I made a new battery cable. Yeah, shit. Connect it up and see what happens. Going for it. The lithium battery is about to get its first test. Or connection, anyway. Tell you what, I could probably see if it turns over as well. It's not going to start, but carbs are completely empty. But I'll be able to see if it actually turns it over, because if it doesn't, then we have an issue. Let's connect this sucker up then. Shouldn't spark. Please don't. Nope. And there's no load on it because it's not turned on, so shouldn't be sparking. Oh, you. There we go. That's better. Right. Are we ready? See if it explodes or not. Nothing's touching that shouldn't be, I hope. Oh, it's on. Oh, you beauty. Neutral light isn't working because I snipped it off. Just remembered. Damn. It's on. Can you see that? Probably not very well. It's blue. That's pretty funky. So the indicator light comes on and off, which is good. Neutral light, that's an issue. Headlights, if I turn that on. Oh yeah, the full beam works. Let's see if she turns over. You ready? Yes, that's good. I am happy about that. Tiny battery, winning. In fact, I think it turns over faster than it used to with the big battery on there. Oh, perfect. Neutral light, I'm going to have to sort that out. There's a little sensor behind this cover. And the wire, I believe, was attached onto this. But can deal with that at another point. It's, you know, whatever. I'm happy about that though. Successful. We have half the electrics. That is good news. Right, I think I'm going to end this video here. I'm just going to carry on pottering and we'll see how far I manage to get tomorrow. Might start doing the headlight and stuff. But yeah, there we go. We are edging closer to a working bike. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.